So again, I'd like to welcome you all to this morning's advanced training, which will be covering part one of apps by Apple. Today is March 15th, 2024. And again, thank you all so much for coming on to today's advanced training. I'm going to go ahead and read our disclaimer before we get started. The WildTech DC Senior iPad program, its owners and presenters offer technical assistance, virtual help, well-being information designed for educational purposes only. You should not rely on the information in any applications or topics made by WildTech, including but not limited to mobile and device applications and any social media pages maintained by WildTech, its owners or presenters as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or legal advice. Thank you so much for letting me read the disclaimer. To keep our meetings organized and avoid talking over each other and making sure everyone is able to ask a question if they would like to, I ask that you use the raise hand feature. You can find this feature if your Zoom looks like this. You'll see more at the top right, and then you'll see raise hand. Or if your Zoom may have been updated in the past few days, at the bottom, it'll either say raise hand, or if you hit reactions, then you can raise your hand in Zoom. So can everyone please raise their hand? And in Zoom, so that I know you're here, you're ready to learn. You have your pen and paper next to you so you can take down some notes. Again, this is how you say a comment, question, concern, etc. So again, I want everyone in Zoom to please raise their hand. Okay. Thank you. We have 15 hands up. We have about 30 folks on. So wow, that was real fast. Thank you so much for that. Again, we still got some hands. Well, we got some claps. Thank you for using the reactions, but it's the raised hands, okay? That is so important because those reactions, they go away. So it's important to, remember to do that. All right, so thank you. You all can lower your hands by hitting lower at the bottom. It will say your hand is raised, and then it will say lower. That's how you lower your hand. Okay. Thank you. Wow, that was so fast. Appreciate you all. You all, as I always say, you all the creme de la creme of the program. So that just showed me why. The other thing that we're going to go over today is communicate with others non-verbally. The chat is a great way to share a greeting, ask a question, congratulate, encourage others, etc. Just a simple hello or good morning, happy Friday, happy World Sleep Day, as you can see in my background. Anything you'd like. You tap more at the top right of Zoom, okay? And then when you hit more, you're going to hit chat. On your end, it will be the first one. Here at the bottom, it says tap here to chat when you are in the meeting chat. And then you're going to type in hello or whatever you want. Again, hello, good morning, happy Friday. Hope you have a great weekend. Could be anything else. Hello. You could add some emojis if you want, which I love to do. So I always love these flowers. You can even send a picture if you want, if you hit this plus sign, and then I hit photo. I can even add a photo in the chat. So this is a painting from the daily art app we covered last week. And you can even share it in the Zoom chat, which I think is really, really neat. So, yep, good morning, happy Friday. Thank you, good morning. Love all these messages. All right, happy Friday. So again, let's all send a chat in Zoom. It can be just a simple hello, or you can make it your own. Let me find, let's see. So many different emojis to take advantage of. I'll find a sun. See that? And yes, let's just all have a great day. And I hope that just sending these different chats in Zoom, makes you feel good. I know it makes me feel good. I'm having a great day, and that just makes me feel even better. So I hope it does the same for you all as well. Okay. So to continue to utilize the chat, I want you all, while we go through the beginnings or throughout the session, In the chat, I want you to share what was your favorite Zoom session this week and why. So every week we host at least about 15 sessions a week. So, there's a lot to, maybe think of what was your favorite. And please share again in the chat why that was your favorite. Okay. So again, just throughout today's session, would love if you could answer. It's good just to reflect on what you did for the week and think about what was the most significant to you. So please answer the question in the chat, and I would love to read your responses throughout today's presentation. Today, of course, we have our introduction talking about apps by Apple. We have our app navigation. So again, for the for a couple of sessions, we are going to be covering different apps created by Apple, 3 of which being Translate, Health, and Tips. So we'll be covering these 3 apps today. And last but certainly not least, as we always do, we have our overview or / Q&A. So we talk about how these apps by Apple can improve your daily life. If you need me to go over anything, if you want to just share your responses to some questions I have, or just share your general thoughts, that is the time to share. So thank you so much for that. And let's go ahead and get started. So apps by Apple. First up, I have, always like to say, give a little bit of context about what we're doing. And I have found this animation of some history and that I thought was quite interesting. So, we are covering apps by Apple. So let's see how Apple came to be alongside Steve Jobs. So I hope you all enjoy, learn something new, and I'll talk to you all soon.
In August 2018, as its stock hit the $200 mark, Apple became the first $1 trillion US company in history. Welcome to our animated show of history. This episode presents to you the history of the world's first trillion-dollar company. Apple was founded by Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak in April 1976. Stephen Paul Jobs was born to Abdul Fattah Jamdali and Joanne Schiebel on February 24, 1955 in San Francisco, but then was adopted by Paul Jobs and Claire Hagopian, a Bay Area blue-collar couple whom Jobs is extremely grateful to and always considers as his parents 1,000%. By the time he was 10, Jobs was deeply involved in electronics and befriended many of the engineers in the neighborhood. While studying at Monte Loma Elementary School in Mountain View, Jobs hardly made any friends and was frequently bullied that he considered dropping out of school. When he was 13, Jobs was given a summer job by Bill Hewlett. He then entered Homestead High School with Bill Fernandez, a fellow electronics hobbyist. They decided to enroll in John McCollum's Electronics 1. McCollum and the rebellious Jobs would eventually clash, and Jobs began to lose interest in the class. Jobs and Steve Wozniak were introduced in 1971 by a mutual friend. The two Steves got along thanks to their shared love of technology. The two Steves attended the Homebrew Computer Club together, a computer hobbyist group in California's Menlo Park. Woz produced the first computer with a typewriter-like keyboard and the ability to connect to a regular TV as a screen. The computer was later christened the Apple I, which was the archetype of every modern computer. Jobs saw Woz's computer, recognized its brilliance, and sold his VW Microbus to help fund its production. Wozniak sold his HP calculator, and together they founded Apple Computer Inc. on the 1st of April 1976 alongside Ronald Wayne. Jobs convinced him to take 10% of the company's stock and act as an arbiter should he and Woz come to blows. But Wayne backed out 12 days later, selling for just $500, a holding that would have been worth $72 billion 40 years later. Apple's very first logo was drawn by Ronald Wayne, depicting Isaac Newton under an apple tree. After that, the Apple logo was designed again with the rainbow scheme. It was used for 22 years until Steve Jobs had asserted the Apple logo after he returned from Apple Farm. A year after foundation, the Apple II was released. It was a much more commercial product and came with its own case. It had a MOS technology processor running at just 1 MHz with 4 kilobytes of RAM and was one of the 3 1977 Trinity computers generally credited with creating the home computer market. The Apple III was designed to take on the business environment that was released on May 1980. Because of lacking the cooling fan as Jobs wished to, the company had to recall thousands of Apple III. On December 12, 1980, Apple launched the IPO of its stock. It instantly created more millionaires, about 300, than any company in history. The Apple I, II, and III computers were text-based machines, much like the earliest IBM PCs. But Jobs wanted something more intuitive. So the Lisa launched in 1983 with its graphical user interface in place. The Macintosh debuted the following year. Jobs was forced out of Apple in 1985 after a long power struggle with the company's board and its then CEO, John Sculley. Jobs then took a few of Apple's members with him to found Next, that specialized in computers for higher education and business markets. Apple purchased Steve Jobs' company Next in 1996. This would not only bring Steve Jobs back to Apple's management, but Next technology would become the foundation of the Mac OS X operating system. In 1997, Jobs stepped in as the CEO to begin a critical restructuring of the company. At the 1997 Macworld Expo, Steve Jobs announced that Apple would be entering into a partnership with Microsoft. Included in this was a 5-year commitment from Microsoft to release Microsoft Office for Macintosh, as well as a $150 million investment in Apple. While discontinuing Apple's licensing of its operating system to third-party computer manufacturers, one of Jobs' first moves was to develop the iMac, a family of all-in-one Macintosh desktop computers. In 1998, the first iMac was released. At that time, Apple had suffered a series of setbacks as consumers increasingly opted for Wintel, Windows PCs, machines instead of Apple's Performa models. The iPod was released in late 2001. The iPod line came from Apple's Digital Hub category, when the company began creating software for the growing market of personal digital devices. 3 years later, the iTunes Music Store was launched, with 2 million downloads in the first 16 days. The first version of the iPhone became publicly available on June 29, 2007 in selected countries. While it wasn't the first smartphone, it leapfrogged far beyond the competition and launched the mobile revolution. The MacBook Air, released in 2008, was the biggest change in Apple's laptop line for years, and invented a whole new category of computers called Ultrabooks. In August 2011, Jobs died of respiratory arrest related to the pancreatic neuroendocrine tumor. Apple then bought Beats, which made headphones and ran a music service, for $3 billion in 2014. A year later, Apple released Apple Watch. So far, Apple has released 11 generations of iPhone along with several versions of iPad. The iPhone is one of the most widely used smartphones in the world, and its success has been credited with helping Apple become one of the world's most valuable publicly traded companies. So, are you using an iPhone? Please tell us in the comments. Also, check out our other anime.
Yeah, so I hope you all learned a little bit more about the history of Apple and Steve Jobs and his contributions to the company and how it became the world's first trillion-dollar company. So I hope you all enjoyed and learned something new. Tim Cooks, the current Apple CEO, he was born November 1st, 1960. He said these quotes that I found were quite interesting. So if you want to respond to one or more of them, after I read them, please raise your hand in Zoom and we'd love to hear from you. He has said, the most important thing Apple is doing is making sure they leave the world better than they found it. If you embrace that the things you can do are limitless, you can put your ding in the universe. You can change the world. History rarely yields to one person, but think and never forget what happens when it does. That can be you, that should be you, and that must be you. Any thoughts on any of these quotes? Please raise your hand in Zoom, and again, we'd love to hear from you. But definitely, for me, that third one speaks to me very much. And anyone would like to respond? Yeah, just we'll take one or two hands. Hi, Mr. Steven, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? And how is everyone
Good.
doing?
Thanks.
Apple has changed the world. The computers being available for most people on the planet. Well, a lot of people on the planet, rather. I think have brought people together. They've brought certain communities together. It has helped increase marketing. It's introduced people to different technologies, art, religion, all kinds of information. However, I'd like to comment, not all information is on the computer. And our generation knows that, but the younger generation seems to believe that everything is on the computer. There's more information in books than there is on the computer. And I know that from personal experience.
Definitely, Mr. Steven. And, you know, we came from books, so that we talked about that in our book experience this week. So, you know, books are very important. And, so people should not forget that they exist. But yes, tech has definitely changed the world, and it's really easy to access certain information. So I definitely agree with what you had said.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for sharing. Yeah, don't forget to lower your hand, Mrs. Steva. Any other folks want to raise their hands and just share their thoughts on a quote or two? Again, I think that third one, don't, one person can change the world, and it can be you, it should be you, and it must be you in a way, because, if you want something in your life, or you want to change something, if you just put that effort and, you have the good thoughts behind it, then, you're capable of doing anything, right? And even if it doesn't work out, then you try again. Okay. So thank you all for sharing and raising your hands. I appreciate those that spoke. Thank you so much. Apps by Apple. In September 2023, Apple debuted an all-new Apps by Apple page on its website, designed to promote its own apps for all Apple devices. The new website breaks down Apple's various apps by category, including communication, creativity, productivity, exploration, entertainment at home, and health and fitness. So many different categories of apps from Apple. So there is a lot that they offer, and a lot for us to utilize. You can connect, create, and get things done with powerful and intuitive apps designed to be accessible, private, and secure. The latest new and notable updates, and that aforementioned website is apple.com/apps. So if I simply just go to that website, again, it's really great just to see how things are organized. Like, I can even just search for just iPad, apps, that are specifically for the iPad. But yeah, looking through, you see all these different options like productivity, exploration, entertainment at home, health and fitness, even some features. So this is a great option to utilize. I'm gonna put this website link in the chat, let me see, apple.com/apps. Yeah, so I went ahead and put that in the chat, so you all can utilize this website as well, just to, for the information, right? I would go to the App Store and see if those apps were downloaded or not. Some of them already are, but like some are not. So just keep that in mind. But yes, Apps by Apple. You can, just seeing the site, it's really easy to look through what you want based on the different categories. Okay, so that again is apple.com/apps. So today, again, we'll be covering some apps, Translate, Health, and Tips. So Translate, this app, again, the icon is here at the top right-hand corner. This is preloaded on your device. So if I go to my home screen, it's right here. On my second screen, it says Translate right here. So again, this is one of the preloaded apps, so it's probably on your second screen, but again, it could be anywhere, but it's should be on your iPad, and you can go in the App Store and search for it if needed. But yes, that is Translate right here. So Translate, this translation app was developed by Apple for iOS and iPad OS devices. This app was officially released in September of 2020 alongside iOS 14. So it was just on iPhones at first. And then just a year later, in September 2021, this app was officially released for iPad models alongside iPad OS 15. So iOS 16 introduced the ability to translate text through the camera. So there are a lot of great features that have come about since its inception. I found this video, for this app. I did find, it's always good to, like, hey, I thought, how did translators or translation begin? Like, who decided, how to do that process? So I think this video is quite interesting in seeing how the history of translation came about. and I hope you all enjoy.
We don't often wonder where the practice of translation originated. We just accept that it exists, and it's business critical. The word translation derives from the Latin term meaning to bring across. Logically, translation and interpreting didn't enter the scene until language began to show up in written form around 3200 BC in the form of hieroglyphics, and in spoken form when the Greeks and Romans began to use their slaves to interpret for them. Major technological advances, such as the availability of paper and the invention of the printing press, led to the first ever book being printed, the Latin Bible. It is perhaps the internet and mechanical translation that has really revolutionised the field. The slow speed of manual translation and the vast amount of content requiring translation has led to technology stepping in. Thus, machine translation and computer-aided human translation were born. Nearly every culture in the world has interactions with every other culture. This means that there are an incalculable number of translation requirements every second of every minute of every day. Officially, there are about 6,800 languages spoken around the world. By some estimates, the translation industry should reach $123 billion by 2019. There is no doubt that the translation industry is a huge industry and growing. This ever-expanding industry helps to bring everyone closer together with each and every translated word. Now is the time to make yourself heard in any language.
Wow, 6,800 languages worldwide. If you just think about it, you know, that's amazing. That just tells you how many different, you know, kinds of people and cultures and places and things that are out there in the world. So, you know, it's good to dream sometimes. This app, again, translate voice and text. This app Translate lets you quickly translate your voice and text between languages. Designed to be the best and easiest to use app for translating phrases, conversations, and even the text around you. So again, this is what the app looks like on your iPad. So make sure, or iPhone as well, you know. You have your Translate app here. Sorry about that. But for whatever reason, if it's not on your home screen or you cannot find it, you can go to the App Store and see if it's downloaded. Search, type in Translate. And you see on mine, and it should be on all of yours as well. It should be here already. You can use the app library, so this icon here at the bottom right, and then you can use it to search for the app that you want to download. So there's, or open, sorry. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit Translate. And it's just as easy as that. You see you have your first language on the left, and then you have your other language on the right. You notice that you have this reverse little icon in the middle, so you can reverse it if you want. You enter the text on the left, and whatever you have language on the right is translated. So if I type, so I have English, and then on here, and then I have Russian here, and I can change it. Maybe I want Italian, or maybe my starting language isn't English, maybe it's Spanish or something, you know? So if I type in hello, it says enter text. Again, we're just going from, you know, just starting easy. So I write hello, you know, hello, ciao, right? and that's amazing, right? That you could just type that phrase in or paste it in, right? If you copy some text, you can also paste it here or translate it like we learned how to do on Wednesday afternoon. You can speak it. Of course, I'm on Zoom right now, so you know you see this mic option. Yes, I cannot start a voice translation because I'm on a Zoom call, but you can use your voice to put in text, right? So again, if I write hello, oops, How are you? Oops. How are you? And then you notice when I'm in the translation, notice some icons appear on the right hand side towards the bottom. You have this, the first one. It looks like two arrows pointing away from each other. So that just makes it big. If I play, again, if I wasn't in Zoom right now, it would actually say or dictate that phrase, which I think is really neat. So again, when you're in here, you can favorite it. So if you see the star come up, you can favorite it for later, right? And then if you hit this third one, this third icon right here, you can, that copies it. So if I hit it, I copy it, I go to my notes app. And then if I paste it here, there you go. So that's how you copy a translation when you are in the Translate app. Yeah, and you can see you can have multiple translations. Once you favorite it or expand it, you can add a new translation if you want. So let's do English, maybe let's go to Spanish. Let me find that. Hello, today is Friday. Yep, hoy es viernes. Same idea. You can expand it. You could favorite it. This book icon right here. You can even have a dictionary, like what it is. So hola is hello, hi, exclamation. And that's really neat. So these are some of these different options that are there. If you hit this three dots right here at the top right, you can download more languages right here. So you see it takes you here to your settings. So I can download any of these, right? So that I need if I don't have a language that I see, right? Yeah. And then if I hit this icon here at the top left, this expands. So look at these different options. Remember I just said you can use your camera to scan text and translate it? Well, let's try that out. I have my iPad here and I have this little pamphlet flyer thing that I got from the corner store and we'll use that to test it out. So I'm gonna hit camera on the left-hand side and look at that. I'm using my camera. Let me unlock. Yep. And if you all can see, it says find nearby text to translate. And I just took that picture and look what it does, y'all. Isn't that neat? Literally each part of the little thing of the paper, it translated it. So even each step, and I think that's really, really neat. So if you look on the right hand side, it's a little finicky right now, but if you look, there's an X right here on the right hand side. The top one, I'm assuming that's how you can, yep, put in your photos, or if you hit the share button right here on the right hand side, you can even share this. It says translated image. So I can save the image or I can email it if I want to, which again, I think is really neat. Yeah, you can even upload a picture to then have it translate the words on it for you. So it says English, Spanish. Let's try Japanese. Isn't that cool, right? Let's try, let's see, French. And you got to realize it's not perfect, right? No translator is going to be 100% perfect, but I think it's a really neat feature that you can utilize with that. So yes, you can use this app to translate text that is in another language. You see, I can switch it. Maybe this wasn't writing in English, it just auto did that. But what if it was in Spanish or Thai or whatever language it was? I think it's, again, really neat that it does that. Okay, so I am going to open the Translate app back up. And again, it saves your entries. So you see these two right here, we just had those two entries. And then if I hit this icon again at the top left, the last one says conversation. So if you are having a conversation with someone, you can literally have, you know, the one person say a phrase and then the next person says their phrase. So it's like you're literally having a conversation where you all can look at, you know, each other's translation. So if I hit view, you can either have side to side mode or face to face. So if you're, you know, I have my iPad like this, like flat, like on the table, you can literally, you know, have it side by side or face to face if you want, to have those options, right? So once you do have either option that you want, all you do is hit this the mic button at the bottom. Again, I wish I could show you all through Zoom, but we can't. But it's there to utilize. So if I hit these three dots, I would recommend you have auto translate on, and it says detect language. So you know it detects the language automatically for you, auto translates, and then if you hit play translations, it will play these different translations for you. Once you do that, let me see. Let me see that Hebrew. No Hebrew. Miss Angela. Let's hope maybe they'll add it one day, maybe. But yes, that is the Translate app. So that way you can just do a simple translation, you know, straight from here, where you can just type in text or paste text. You can use your camera to take a picture of something, basically, or scan a document and translate it. Or you can use the conversation piece to actually, you know, have a conversation, you know, between you and another individual while you're either face to face or side to side. So I hope you all enjoy the Translate app. Again, it's quite easy to navigate. And once you do, you'll know that it's there for later use, okay? Before we move on to the next app, I have some fun facts for you all. One, did you know there are over 7,000 languages in existence around the world? Yes, we learned that in the video today. The most targeted languages for translation are English, French, German, Italian, and Russian, making them the top 5 languages in the translation industry. During the first decade of the 21st century, over 75% of books were translated into French or German, but only 5% into Chinese. This is surprising because Chinese is one of the most widely spoken languages in the world, but only 5% of books were translated into the Chinese language. So again, found that quite interesting, these fun facts, and I hope you all did as well. Hi Greer, did you have a question about the Translate app? You gotta hit unmute in the middle, Greer. You got a question? Okay, thank you. I see you lowered your hand, Greer, but yes, let us know if you have a question. So our next app for today is Apple Health, Health and Fitness. The Apple Health app provides a central and secure place for your health and fitness information, so it's easily accessible and under your control. I've covered this app, you know, a few times when I did our iPadOS 17 overview, our preview that we did a few months ago. I know I had mentioned this app when we did that overview, I think in January. But it's always good to go over because I think it's a really great and new app for this latest upgrade that we got last November. So from Apple Health, before we actually go into the app, I have just some videos for us to watch that I think were quite interesting. So these 5 videos, all about a minute in length, are from Apple health. So I thought they were interesting. So let's see what each one has to offer. So
Staying healthy. It can feel complicated. Truth is, making small changes in 4 key areas can make a difference. Just move a little more, eat a little better, sleep tighter, and take a moment to calm your mind. Everything's connected. When you move more, you tend to feel less stressed. If you sleep better, you tend to eat better. One good change leads to another, and another. Pretty soon, healthy decisions start feeling better than unhealthy ones. Check in, see how you're doing, and track your progress over time. When you know your health better, you know yourself better. Simple, really.
when you know your health better, you feel better. Very true. This one's on mindfulness.
Am I gonna make that deadline? How bad's the traffic? What's my password again? How many likes did I get? With our busy lives, our minds can get pretty restless, but our brains aren't wired to be constantly switched on. So taking some time to quiet your mind and be in the moment can make you less stressed and improve your health overall. There are many ways to be mindful, like simply finding a moment to take a few deep breaths. Feeling better already?
This video right here is on activity.
These days, we can get things done, get around, spend our whole day without really moving. Thing is, our bodies were made to move, so we just need to sit less and move more throughout the day. Squeeze in a minute here, a minute there. Anything to get your heart pumping. As long as you're moving, you don't have to hit the gym. Just find something you love to do. Like this. Or that. And chances are you'll keep doing it. The less we sit now, the more active we can be later in life.
This next video is on nutrition.
We all eat good things. And not so good things. Some days more, and some days less. But being aware of how much we eat and what's in the food we do helps us understand what habits we need to break or make, like eating more real food than junk food. A few less meals like this, a few more like this. Good eating doesn't mean perfect eating. It's just about making better choices, one bite at a time.
And this last video is about sleep.
A good night's sleep is important, but life often gets in the way. Status updates, nagging thoughts, season 3 finales. So finding a natural rhythm, going to bed the same time and sleeping the right amount can help us think sharper, stay healthier, even fight off a cold. So let's protect our sleep, not just leave it to the hours left in the day, because every good day really starts with a good night.
Every good day starts
Natural
with
rhythm.
the good night. Lots to think about, you all. I hope you enjoyed these videos. Our next video is actually how to use the health app. So again, this comes downloaded with the upgrade that you all receive. But if for whatever reason you still do not have the Apple Health app on your iPad, you can search it on the App Store. And that way you can then download it if you need to and open the app. But this video goes over how to use the new health app. Of course, I'll be covering what's in the app itself like we usually do, but it's always good to see a different perspective and see some tips. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. We've heard from her before when we did, what was that? I think that was maps we covered. So I think this video is quite interesting. So I hope you all learn something new as always.
With iPadOS 17, Apple has brought the Health app to the iPad. It gives users the ability to track their health, and the app has been optimized for the iPad's larger screen. The design is visually more appealing and brings newly designed revamped features. The display encourages you to interact with your health data through trends, highlights, and interactive charts. Let's dive into the new Health app in iPadOS 17 and bring your health data to life on the iPad's larger display. Hi, I'm Ellen from ellenstipsforios.com. If you find this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. Once your iPad is updated to iPadOS 17, the Health app will be displayed on your home screen. Here's how to set it up. Open the Health app. You'll see the welcome screen. Tap Continue. If you aren't seeing the welcome screen, it may be because you've already set up your Health app on the iPhone and it's already syncing to your iPad. If not, you'll continue. Toggle on the Sync to iPad switch to ensure your data is available on your iPhone and Apple Watch. Tap Continue. Toggle on the trends to receive a notification about your new trend in your health data. Tap Continue, and now you continue adding your health details and set up your profile as needed. The health categories, records, summary, and health sharing option will be available in the left side panel. The Health app intends to be your all-encompassing companion, allowing you to track your daily emotional states and moods and track your medications. Users can compile and view their health records from multiple institutions in one centralized, secure, private location. So to do this, you can kind of see over here in the upper right corner, I've connected the Allegheny Health Network to my Health app. And you can do that as well. You just need to come over to the left-hand side, scroll down to the bottom, and where it says Add Account, hit the plus sign, and there'll be a listing of everything that it's available there. Your institution may not be listed and it wouldn't be available, but you can search for the institutions that are, and if yours is available, you can then connect your health network or your doctor to the Health app. If you set up your medication list over on your iPhone, it should be available here, but if it's not, if you haven't set that up or you're only using an iPad and not an iPhone, you can come in and you'll see there's an option here to add your medications. I have a whole video on how to add medications, and I'll put a link to that in the video description. Apple is continuing its focus on health and wellness with some new features. So in the mental health category, both the Health app on the iPhone and iPad and the Mindfulness app on the Apple Watch, if you have one, allow users to reflect on their current state of mind. You can scroll through multi-dimensional shapes that correspond with how you're feeling, everything from very pleasant to very unpleasant. So as you can see, I've gone ahead and clicked on mental well-being, and you can see that there's different categories here. And if I tap into, say, anxiety risk, you'll see that there's an anxiety risk questionnaire that I can take, and these are the type of surveys that you're given in a doctor's office, so you can go through and take the questionnaire. If I come back and I tap into state of mind, now I can go ahead and hit the get started and go through what my state of mind is on this particular day. And the health app will keep track of all of that for you. You can come into the sleep area, and so if you have a sleep app set up, you can have the data transferred into this. There's so many options now. You can keep track of your exercise risk or minutes. You can check depression risks and take the depression risk questionnaire. These are all updates that Apple has brought to the health app so that we can take care of our mental well-being. Another new feature in iPadOS 17 deals with vision, and nearsightedness affects 30% of the population, and there are several ways to reduce the risk factors, including spending more time outside in daylight and increasing the distance at which something like a book or a device is viewed. So as you can see, there's an option here for time spent in daylight. So starting in watchOS 10, you can measure your time spent in daylight with the ambient light sensor, and that information will then be displayed in the health app. There's also a new screen distance feature found on the iPhone and iPad, and it encourages users to move their device further away. Holding it closer than 12 inches for an extended period of time will trigger that. And it also provides tips for younger users to engage in healthy viewing habits and allows adults to reduce eye strain. So to get to that area, so if I swipe out of the health app and if I tap on screen time, you'll see an option for screen distance to reduce eye strain, and you can toggle on that switch there. But again, I wish Apple had a way to bring this to all devices, but right now it's only working on devices that use Face ID. So that would be on your iPhone, or if you have an iPad Pro that uses Face ID, then this screen distance option will be available to you. It's there in the settings no matter what. It's only available for use with Face ID devices. As you can see, the addition of the health app on the iPad is a great way to see significant health information on a larger screen. The mental health and vision features are an excellent addition to a robust set of features across Apple devices. If you have any questions.
Wow. So yeah, with the newest updates to iPadOS, that's again every year that we've had since about October, November of last year. Those are some of the new features that debuted on the iPad Health app. So again, when you go to the Health app, as she has done, again, let's go to Health. And you see this is what, excuse me, again, what comes up on the left-hand side. So very, very similar to what she had shown off. Of course, there have been some minor updates, but again, very, very similar. So like accessing your records, you can connect to your provider. You can log your emotions and moods. Headphone notifications. So yeah, if my headphones are too loud, but here's some articles you can read. And again, on the left-hand side, you can have a summary. You can share your health data with others if you want. And there are all these different categories, right? Cyclotrack, hearing, heart, medications. This is where you can add a medication like she had said, right? If I had add a medication, it's very simple. You just type the name of it. So I'm just putting Tylenol, for example. There you go, acetaminophen. It's a tablet, or I could choose a liquid capsule. What, show more? Oh yeah, wow. That's cool that they have those different options, right? But let's say it's a tablet, and then you choose the strength. So whatever milligrams it is, 325. I can add a custom medication if the strength is not available. That's cool. Let's say I just wanted a 200 one, right? 200, done, next. When will you take this? Regular intervals, times, wow. You can even add that information as well. That's pretty cool. You can choose the shape of it because different tablets can be different shapes, right? Or you can skip, for example, choose the colors. Oh, wow, so yeah, some tablets do have different colors on each side, right? So like it shows you the shape of it. If I next, wow. So look, this is optional details. You can change the name or you can add notes, which I think is really neat stuff. I'm going to cancel it because I don't take Tylenol every day, but that's a really cool way you can add your medications, mental well-being, mobility, there's nutrition. So you can, if you need to track any of these, which is a lot of different options, you can do that. Respiratory, sleep. And whenever in any of these sections, look, if I go to heart, look at that, about heart. You can learn more and read more. So what is atrial fibrillation? I can read more about this condition. If I go to mobility, understanding walking steadiness, learning about cardio fitness, etc. Respiratory, learn about blood oxygen levels, cardio fitness, respiratory rate, etc. And again, if you want to add your own health records from your provider, you see at the bottom left, it says add account. When you tap on that, I can choose any provider, either here by the suggestions, or I can type in the hospital, network, or location as well. So just with this, the health app, you can track a lot of different things if you need to, like sleep, nutrition, respiratory sleep, symptoms, vitals, anything you need to record or just start putting down, so you can have those trends. I would really recommend you utilize the app, okay? So thank you all so much I hope you all explore the health app. And last but not least for today, we'll be covering tips. So there is a tips app. Learn more about your iPad. With the tips app, you can get the most from your iPad with helpful hints and hidden gems. Learn about your device and its built-in apps. You can flip through collections of tips on a specific topic, and new tips are added often. So again, the tips app, it's a bright yellow icon. Again, it's already on your iPad, but you can search for it in the App Store if you want, for whatever reason. But again, it's all of you all should have the tips app. So tips, it's already open. And once you do, it's nothing to it but a skip, hop, and a jump. Look at that. So when you're in tips, this is what comes up. So suggested, so set up checklist. This is what comes up when you open the app. Okay, so look, did you all know that you can add a recovery contact? So if you forget your password or device passcode, you can use a recovery contact so that way they can assist you with resetting your password if you forget it, or your device passcode as well. So you can do that. Of course, they have to be at least 13 and have an Apple device to do so. But again, I think that's really neat. And did you know, because again, this is very, very important, you all, you can add a legacy contact. So if you would like to, you can designate a trusted person who can access your ID, your information by setting it up in this way. So, you never know when something like that may occur. So it's good to be prepared in that case. And if you would like to, you can add a recovery contact. So you can recover your information if you want, and you can also add a legacy contact. So you can designate someone to have access to your info, if something were to happen, okay? But I think that's really great. They also have some other ones. So I Find My On, I have iCloud on, I have my Apple ID, I'm signed in, I have my Touch ID set up, so I'm good with those. When I hit this icon here at the top left, again, that shows me different tips. So look, navigating, right? So look, switch between apps. This is a tip. So instead of having to hit the home button, you can just swipe up from the bottom of the iPad. You see that, you all? I just swiped up from the very bottom of my iPad, and I can either go to my home screen or I can open the multitasking feature just from dragging from the bottom in the middle of the screen, just like the animation did. So did you all know you could do that? You don't just have to hit the home button twice. You can also swipe up from the bottom of your device. You can open your control center as we went over in Module 5, swiping from the top right of your device. Yep, you can learn how to take a screenshot, which you cover. So look, you hit the home button and power button at the same time. That is how you take a screenshot. And more. So there are even more tips. They always add some new ones, right? So there's practice key gestures. So if you hold it, or look, tap or touch and hold to open something like a photo or an app, tap it quickly. To see more options, try holding it. So look, it even says try it. So look at that, tap any photo. And I just did that. It says now touch and hold a photo to reveal more actions. So I'm gonna touch and hold. And look at that, copy, share. And I did it. And that way I practiced that tip, which I think is really neat. Pinch to zoom. Pinching is very important. You see the motion, you pinch out to zoom in, you pinch in to zoom out. So again, when I hit try it, pinch open or close with 2 fingers. So I'm gonna pinch close or open first. Yeah, and I just practice, or I can pinch towards and zoom out. So again, some more navigation tips as well to utilize. Personalize your iPad. Again, you can change, it shows you can also adjust your wallpaper, your time. You can set a photo as your background. You can adjust the text size. We cover that in Module 2. But look at all these different options. I mean, what's new in the latest update? So you can learn how to add widgets or edit PDFs. You can learn about autofill, widgets. When you FaceTime someone, you can leave them a video message if they don't answer, etc. There's just so many different options, right? Learn about battery life, right? Many factors affect battery life. To see how much power apps are using, tap settings, then tap battery. So cool, if I hit settings, and then I go to battery, look at that. It shows about half of my use is from YouTube. I utilize the music app, Hulu, so I can look at what apps are actually using the most batteries. So yes, I try to watch a bit of YouTube so I could see why that is. But just again, going through Siri, like learning different things you can do with Siri. Photos, you can change something about a photo or a camera. Even my AirPods, right? So I can learn more about my AirPods. So I didn't know I could, well, I did know after looking at this, I can have a background sound if I want to, just by with the steps here. And last but not least, there is a user guide for a lot of the things. So if you ever have a question and you want an answer to it, I would recommend you go to tips, and there is an iPad user guide where you can look up different apps and different things with regarding your iPad. So if you just want to learn more information about an app or a process on your iPad, you can look up the user guide on your device. Okay, but that is the Tips app on your iPad. And I hope there is a lot of tips that can be useful for you, but especially that recovery and legacy contact, I think, are really important. So thank you all so much for coming on. And now we'll have our overview and discussion where I have these questions on the screen. I hope you all learned or want to utilize one of these apps in your daily life, and I hope you learned something new. Again, what is one new fact that you learned today? Name one thing you like about Apple or Apple products. What app or apps are you interested in trying out? And or how can these apps by Apple improve your daily life? You can share a thought, reaction if you want me to go over something. I can do that as well. I would love if you could also, you all could raise your hands and answer one or more of these questions. But again, thank you all so much for attending. Would love to hear from as many of you before we have to end for today. But again, we have our lunch club at 12, taking a trip to New Zealand, and then we'll be doing module 6 at 1:30, talking about Zoom and how to add a background. Okay. So anyone would like to respond to one or more of these questions? If you have any questions for me, please raise your hand in Zoom. Okay, again, thank you so much, Mrs. Stephen, for raising your hand. I'll be looking for other hands as well. How are you?
I'm excellent. How are you doing? And how is everyone else doing? I hope everyone's having a wonderful day, or morning rather. Just what this was best for me was realizing how much I don't know about this iPad, and showing me, you were showing me different paths to take to find new discoveries and then employ them in my life. So that was the most important thing for me. Because if I don't know that I don't know, then how am I going to know? So you opened up a new field that I can just explore and discover and hopefully integrate into my life. I just have a comment. I love sharing information regarding the printing of the book. There's a divide between the Western Hemisphere and the Eastern Hemisphere, and that's been going on for a very, very long time. And I'm very surprised that it's even going on today. The first book was actually printed in China in the 9th century during the Tang Dynasty.
Yes,
and
sir. We learned that in one of our sessions.
Oh,
actually.
I'm sorry that I missed that. So
no, it's okay. That's so interesting. You got that fact to a T. It was during the Tang Dynasty in around 900 that year. So that's amazing that you know that.
Yes, and probably the reason why there are such low percentage of translations from China is, I would suspect, is because of communism and the regulation of what information people have access to. That's just my
surely, yeah, access of information. Yeah, that was from 2000 to now. So yes, definitely. I was surprised by that fact as well, and that definitely would be something interesting to look at. But I hope you enjoyed the session, and I hope you try some of these apps out today, Mrs. Stephen. Thank you so much. Any other thoughts? Anyone else would like to answer one or more of these questions on the screen? I would love to hear what app or apps you would like to utilize. I mean, hey, you can translate. Again, you can add your data regarding your health, so you can keep track, trends, show you doctor, and you can utilize tips. So that way you can just learn more about your device on your own and feel empowered to learn more and to utilize those different tips. I think it's really, really essential. Thank you, Miss Doris. How are you?
Fine. How are you, Alex?
Good.
This was very interesting. One of the ones I would be interested in trying out is the tips one and your medication, because a lot of times you forget. I forget whether I took certain medicine. So that would be very helpful to me.
Yes, I know in the past, before the health app, I know WildTech, we discussed A couple of other apps to utilize, but you know, Apple has its own health app now, and you saw it was so easy just to add a medication. Just took like a minute or two just to input the info, and especially connecting with your provider. You know, maybe those medications will already be put in there if you do that. But it's just good to learn more, as you saw with the articles for each section that you can read, along with the info that the video talked about as well.
Yeah, I think it was very educational, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem, Ms. Doris. You have a great rest of your day.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And again, just keep the hands coming, you all. Hi, Brenda. How are you?
I'm good, Alex.
Good.
Alex, I think I'd like to do the Translate app. I remember when I was in junior high school, I took Spanish and I never used it. So, you know, I'm not around a lot of Spanish speaking people, but I mean, it's just good to know, to learn.
Yeah.
I'd like to continue. I'd like to, you know, start back up again. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try the Translate app, and yeah, just to broaden my horizons.
Oh yeah, and you know, it's cool, those different, I didn't realize they had those features available, like with the conversation piece. Like, so if you are next to someone speaking a different language, there won't be a barrier because you'll have, you know, this device. If you look at something in Spanish, you're like, oh, I wish I could read what that said. You can literally just put your iPad camera toward it and have it translate to any other language from that language, which I think is so neat. Like,
yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Now, let me ask you something. When you were in that app, you had a listing of all of the different languages. Is that in the app? You know, all the different languages that you could learn.
That's a good question. Well, learn per se, translate. Well, learn per se, no. I mean, if you type in certain phrases, you know, something simple is going to be fine. But with actually learning it, I would try like Duolingo or something. But just, you know, if you just have that text, but still in here in the app, if I hit these three dots right here, you see it says download languages. So these are all available.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, it takes you to settings when you do that. So these are the ones that are available, that are offline. So I mean, we're all online all the time, so you know, I don't think it matters too much. But these are the languages here. And if you want to just switch either this first one or the second one, you see you have to enter the text on whatever side says enter. Yep. And then you choose the language. So if you want to translate from Ukrainian to Spanish, oh my gosh, like it happens though. We don't know that there's 6,800 languages in the world. So imagine having to translate between the combination of those, going from Thai to Dutch. Like that's, you know, just thinking about that exchange or those two folks speaking is just amazing, right?
Yeah.
So, it's just funny to think about.
That language looks like artwork.
I
couldn't distinguish what letter it would be. So
oh no, oh yeah, Thai, some, you know, even Russian, you know, the language I'm still, you know, grasping in my head. It's very yeah, it's a lot. But with the Translate app, there are many different features to take advantage of as well.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I'm gonna try.
Thanks, Alex. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Any other last thoughts, last reactions? Again, you can answer one of these questions, or you can just share, you know, what you liked, what you found interesting. I hope all the videos were, you know, just scrolling through and finding what's out there. There's a lot of great information just to find out. So I hope we all take advantage of the Translate Health and Tips app. And we'll be continuing our series with some more apps by Apple on Monday. And then on Friday, well, I'll just leave it at that. Make sure you check out our daily email so you can see what we'll be having next week on Monday morning when you receive the emails, you all. So I really look forward to that Friday session. I have done it before, but it's a lot of fun. And we'll have, well, I'll just share with you all because I did share it with someone. On Monday, we'll be talking about apps by Apple, sports and fitness. So great segue into our sports lunch club. So please check out the apps I'll be covering Monday morning and be ready to join Monday at 10 a.m. for our next advanced training. Other than that, I will see you all at 12 o'clock for our lunch club to our trip to New Zealand. And thanks so much for attending. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks,
Thanks
Alex.
so much.
Thank you, Alex.
See you all
Thank
later.
you.
Have a great
Thanks,
day.
Alex. Have a
Thank
great
you so
day.
much. See you all at 12. Have a good day.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.